Hey guys, Pro1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Galaxy 4 Reconstruction and comparing it with the animation. This was a patron request on my Patreon by one of my patrons, Alice Collins. She wanted me to look at several of the stories and compare the animations to the Recons, and we've done Fury from the Deep already, but we're going to do Galaxy 4 now. One, because I really wanted to watch this one, especially with part of the story existing. And I'd already watched the episode 1 Recon before, even though I went ahead and rewatched the whole thing. I like the Recon. Part of that is it's only 4 episodes, so it doesn't quite drag like Fury's did. I enjoyed Fury's, but toward the end I was kind of getting bored with it. I did have to watch it over like a 3 or 4 day period. Whereas this one I watched over a 2-day period, but in less than 24 hours. I watched it. I watched 2 episodes of it at night and 2 episodes the next day. And again, also with a fourth of it existing, with episode 3 existing airlock, and then about a fourth of episode 1 existing. Plus the way they did the reconstruction with the CGI in places, like having the Chumblies move around with CGI, and where you could tell they were creating pictures using like stills of Hartnell and other actors in it and putting them together, like copy pasting them together to kind of create scenes. You could tell it makes it work really well, better than I think old reconstructions probably could have done. It looks like they put some money into it at least. Really, my biggest complaint was in episode 4 when the one Draven hits the Chumbly, and it takes forever. It's just one shot of her just slowly. And that shot went on so long, I was like, bored now. Bored. That was my biggest complaint. I thought other than that it worked really well. I never really got bored with it. Because even in episode 1, I had that 1 6-minute clip basically to kind of break up the actual reconstruction part. And then I got through episode 2 fine. And then I had episode 3 existing so I could watch episode 3. And then it was just a matter of getting through episode 4. And so I thought the reconstruction worked really well. I like getting to see how the reels, we're going to say the reels. I like their ship better in the actual story. The fact that you have to keep in mind that they're never actually on the reels ship. They're in the little encampment around the ship. And I like that better in the reconstruction. I don't like how they reimagined that in the animation, because it gives more the impression they're actually on the real ship, which they're not. They're in the encampment, but they make the encampment look more. They completely redesigned the real ship and the real encampment for the animation, and I don't like it having seen the original. I much prefer that kind of makeshift, thrown together encampment look with the kind of plastic sheets basically over it, where you can kind of see the landscape behind it. And I'm sure they redesigned it because that would have been a lot harder to animate with that kind of translucent look of the background. That probably would have been a lot harder to do. So I'm sure it was for the sake of keeping the animation under budget and done on time, because Lord knows the animations don't get enough money allocated to them. But I do actually like the way it looks in the actual story a lot better. And this makes it really hard to switch between the surviving episode 3 and the animation, because so much of the surviving episode 3 takes place with Hartnell and the companions in the real ship. So you're going from the way it looks in the animation to the way it looks in the surviving episode back to the way it looks in the animation for episode 4, and that's very jarring. So I found there are really, I think, 3 ways people are going to watch this. I think if you're watching it in color, you probably watch all 4 of it animated. If you're watching it in black and white, you probably watch episodes 1, 2, and 4 animated with the surviving episode 3. I think that's how most people probably do the black and white versions. Or you can watch the reconstruction. And I think my least favorite way to watch it is the black and white animated version with the surviving episode, because it is so jarring with the real ship being so reimagined that it throws me off. That's how I watched the story originally, because I do tend to prefer the black and white versions of the animations, as it's more what that area of the show is supposed to be in. And it was very jarring and very confusing seeing it like that for the first time. I much preferred my run through of it in color. One, because the colors pop. The colors look really, really good on the color version. And two, it was just more consistent viewing. But I liked the Recon too. Now, you can see several things watching the Recon. That when they're on the planet, there's obviously paintings that are supposed to be the horizon. It's very obviously painting backdrops. And then the Draven's guns are just sophisticated little flashlights that light up when there are times when they're firing their guns, I'm like, oh, one of my videos is going. When your YouTube video gets interrupted by one of your YouTube videos. But yeah, I absolutely like Galaxy 4 because especially watching the reconstruction of the original version of it, I get this impression that this is very much still a kid's show. This is being thought of as a kid's show. It's being made for kids. It has a very important lesson in it of not judging a book by its cover, which is a very, very important lesson for a children's show. You know, it's very simplistic, but it's one of those things that you feel like something like Sesame Street would do or something like that to teach a lesson. It's a good lesson, and it comes across well. Again, it's a very simplistic one. It's kind of one that today would seem tropey, but I think for its time it does really well. And of course, I think it's neat having the villains be all attractive females and having a strong female lead. I think that's pretty progressive for the time, especially since the attitude toward the time was probably, oh, attractive blonde women can do no wrong. I mean, I could have gone back in time and told them on that one. But apparently the writer knew that as well already. So it's neat that you meet these attractive women and you're immediately like, these wonderful women, we have to help them. Whereas the reals are these disgusting things that, as soon as you see it, especially if you're a child, you're like, ugh, ooh, it must be evil. Which is how the Dravens think. Again, it's a good lesson to kids. That's how this one comes across to me, is it's a children's TV show at this point. It's done in a very simple dress, like 60s Star Trek, or even more so. It's more 60s Star Trek than 60s Star Trek in a way here. Very cheap looking set, done to get an important point across that every child should hear. And I like Galaxy 4. I think it has a nice little rewatchability because I don't think of it as the massive story like Dalek's Master Plan or Dalek's Invasion of Earth. It's kind of the crimson horror of its day. It's not meant to be taken too seriously. It's just some silly fun. Enjoy it. So, that's the way I look at it. Now, as for which version I prefer, I don't know. It's which one I'm in the mood for. Like, I could see myself going back and watching the Reconstruction again because I really enjoyed the Reconstruction. Matter of fact, of the Reconstructions I've watched, it's probably my favorite Reconstruction, since it does have so much of surviving footage incorporated into it. Makes it easier to get through. Plus, it's only 4 episodes. On the other hand, I really like the color animation a lot. With the exception of what they did to the real ship with the big change there. I don't really care for that. But I like the animation. The colors really pop. It does a good job of making the planet look huge and desolate. And I like that. I love the red sky they give it. That was a stroke of genius. I really enjoy that. So it's more which one I'm in the mood for. I can see myself going back and watching both. Although I do prefer the surviving episode 3 over the animated episode 3. I can say that. So that is my thoughts on Galaxy 4. I would like to know what you think of Galaxy 4 and what you think of the animation and what you think of the reconstruction. What your favorite way to watch this story is. Color, black and white, Recon. Tell me what you like. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I want to give a shout out to Alice Collins. I really appreciate the video request. This was a fantastic idea, and I really enjoyed watching through the Recon all the way. I want to give a shout out also to 2 of my top tier patrons, the 5th Doctor and Stephen Crane. I really appreciate their support, just as I appreciate all of my patrons' support and all of my subscribers' support. Thank each and every one of you. If you would like to contribute to my Patreon and be one of my patrons, there's a link to that down in the description below. That gets you access to behind the scenes stuff, exclusive videos like I ranked the Masters recently. I also have a review for the Idiot's Lantern up. I will be doing a review for the Daemons, the Omnibus version, which will be an exclusive to Patreon. That will be, I have to actually rewatch it, but I will be rewatching that and reviewing that soon. Hopefully I like it better than the full version. I've got a poll. I've got a couple other polls up for classic stuff I'm going to be reviewing for the channel. All sorts of other fun stuff. If there's anything there that interests you, check that out. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.